All right, welcome back everybody to Tactics Ogre. We are going to continue on up the castle. Looks like we got another two missions left to do before we reunite with our sister.
I did not expect them to find us here.
Someone whispers to the Almoricans.
Who? The Regent? That fond of us, is he?
It matters not. This provides the perfect opportunity to avenge Oz and Ozma.
Do not be so eager to die, Barbas. They're not the rebel they once were.
You call me weak.
I call you foolish if you think you face children down there.
But face them we must. It's only a question of whether we end this here or in Heim. Surely you aren't suggesting we quit these islands entirely. We have not yet lost, and you would leave without a fight.
I fear that even were we to place Kashu upon the throne, it would not bring an end to this unrest.
Precisely why we must crush them here and now.
Surely you've forgotten our true goal, Barbas. The rule of Valeria is but one step along our path. If we retreat now, our losses would be trivial. The High Priest has commanded as much.
The High Priest? I'd as soon have his head on a pike as hear what that imbecile has to say.
Enough, Barbas. Or it may be your head upon the pike.
Speak the truth, Lancelot. You don't want to lose favor with the Senate. What of the miracle we seek? Was that not the very reason we stole the Zenobian blade?
Speaking of which, I've received word from Bolzapon.
Again? What will he have us do now? Wrest the firmament from its perch?
Sister! Tartaros, release my sister at once!
I leave this in your hands.
My hands will be happy to show them the difference between knights and children.
We leave now, Kashua.
I was waiting for you, boy.
Just dropped straight down as if his legs would not shatter instantly.
But you're a fool to advance on our front gates.
A fool? Your friends did not call me so as they died.
And brazen besides. Allow me to show you something. Know what this is? Of course you do not. This marvelous weapon is called a fusil. And it is far more powerful than any sorcery. Ah! Worthless, bedeviled contraption! You! Take this from my sight! As I was saying, contraptions are well and good, but a true knight fights with a sword. Excepting those who fight with hammers, such as myself. Ready yourself,
hammers.
Denim of Goliath. I intend to end you and your futile war.
So this is not the worst mission to do, but as I may have said multiple times before, you have to sort of break this down piece by piece. You know, try to eliminate not as many guys as possible, but try to eliminate one at a time to the best of your ability. Because it's very easy to get overwhelmed. So that doesn't necessarily mean grab all your guys, bunch them up into a big ball, and try to roll over the enemy. But sort of figure out where are the weak spots in the line. How can you take care of that? I'll give you an example. Our buddy Anifist, he can fly, which means he can move pretty much anywhere he wants without worrying about height, as long as he's got the movement for it. I mean, so if he's on the ground, level 1 ground, and there's a big wall in front of him, and he happens to have the movement points for that, he'll be able to go as high up as the wall goes, or however high the wall allows. Okay, so that means that for him, his job is going, at least in this mission, is going to be to try to fly over to where the archers are, towards the top of this fortress castle thing, and to remove them from the battle, because they pose little problem for him if they try to physically attack him back, because they are ranged units using bow and arrow. So by putting a physical user to counter their long range abilities, you're basically playing the rush down game with them. Now, where you wouldn't want to do that is you wouldn't want to take him and put him in the middle of this battle where all the Dark Knights are coming down the stairs towards, because they are probably some form of physical defensive unit. So we prefer for them to take on our heavily defensive units and or get ranged out by mages. Okay? If that happens, you just want to ignore the character that's in front of you that has failing. It's not worth your time. And then a couple other things we're going to do here is see the bushes diagonal. Now, I guess if you're looking at this angle, they are south east of Denim right now. We're going to remove those so that we'll have a better access towards the wall, instead of having to go around the bushes to the left or lining up in a straight line behind where Denim currently is standing. So that'll help us to hopefully get up into the center area quicker. We're going to leave our mages down here, hopefully away from archers, so that we can use area effect. There's probably a better way to explain that, but basically the non-bolting spells in this game that hit at distance and goes in a plus pattern. And the more of these Dark Knights I can eliminate, or the faster I can eliminate them, the better it'll be, because when the boss starts to come down towards my line, I don't want him anywhere. I don't want a group of enemies around him, because that'll serve as the perfect defensive cover for him, and then he'll just proceed to wipe the floor with my guys. So stuff like that, it's a little bit of a toss, because you're only doing 31 damage to the guy who's got the phalanx on him, but being able to do a little bit of damage I don't know. It really depends. It's really situational, I suppose. If you could do 200 damage to one guy versus 200 damage to two guys, one of them has phalanx, probably should do the 200 damage to one guy. Now, if you can slow down two characters instead of one, yeah, go after the two guys. But there's usually a percent chance of that. That may or may not work. 45%, 50-50, give or take. It's fine. Yeah, it's better. That's what's fun about mages. You can't give them too much. You can't give the. I want them to have more because I want them sort of compete with the physical users. But I understand that there's a tipping point with mages where if you give them, particularly if you increase their area, the magic spell can deal damage to, and then you increase damage on top of that. The spell goes from being really good to broken. And so you gotta watch yourself, even though mages, of course, have the downside that they are reliant on MP. But I suppose you can also offset that by using your first turn as with the mage to pump up or fill their entire HP gauge, which will pretty much set you for, I wouldn't say the whole mission, but it should set you up pretty good for most of the mission. The real dangerous part is when you get these long streaks of enemies going. I know I've said this already once before in an earlier episode, but just reiterating, it's super dangerous because, particularly if they're all in the same area clumped together, they can easily devastate a section of your line, you know? I don't. Yeah. We're doing a pretty good job tanking the attacks so far. That, like, everything's sort of on par. Like, so far, aside from the boss, who I know he's going to come down here and just devastate us, but aside from the boss, everybody's doing roughly the amount of damage that I'm doing to them. So the one downside of the bow, unfortunately, particularly with height, push your guy backwards so they can make so they fall in the range the range that the bow shoots in, but then they can't shoot over top of the wall. Please be dead. Notes to be dead. This is where you start thinking about flying north. Unfortunately, the boss is still hanging around up there, so I don't want to move him up there yet. And I'm looking between my different attacks because he's got 6 finishers I can use, including range. Range usually isn't as good as the direct damage that you can do with your axes, but it's nice to have the flexibility in case you're far away. Ew. Casting out a little damage, I do. Good. I like that. That was good. Healing, always good. Why die today when you can die later? When you take more damage and deal more damage. Oof. 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 Getting my entire big boy attack by Canopus. I like that though. Basically, make it so that you are what's the word I'm looking for? Balance. So you're actually making healing worthwhile. Whereas if you tank all the damage, you don't need a healer. So you know you got to make those hits hurt so that you actually keep a healer or two in the party. I don't know why this is such a strong attack. I mean, I understand it's more expensive than the other ones, but like, should it also be range in addition to being stronger than the others? I mean, I understand you had to spend more time unlocking it, but like, I don't know. I think the range should come with a little bit of a detriment on the amount of damage you deal. Maybe I'm full of shit. Hard to say.